Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. Hold me closer, tiny dancer. Dun, dun, dun. Make my bone and wings my way. Let me eat the wings of chicken. Dun, dun, dun. With some blue cheese today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I bet you didn't know your boy could get up that high up in the attic, huh? Didn't know he could hit those notes up there, huh? Oh, you looking for Evan? Where's he at? He's up in the attic hitting them high notes. Hold me closer, tiny dancer. Dude, there's nothing like someone who can hit that fucking, what is his name? He had the song Forrest Gump. A potato flew around my room. Frank Ocean. Obviously, that's not the lyrics. Frank Ocean. There's something about some dudes who can hit a note like that when they're like, "But do you not think so far ahead?" That's what you call the panty dripper, all right? The moist musical marinade maker. Bars, okay? It's literally the opposite of what the dude is who just randomly brings a guitar to the party. Who's just like, oh, you guys want to hear some songs? Like the dude that just brings an acoustic guitar. In college, I always thought it was a joke till you like get to college. And you really do see dudes bringing acoustic guitars to parties and shit. And you're like, bro, the fuck are you doing? Okay. But that is the opposite of that. A guy who can hit a high note like that, they get up in that attic with them notes, just, ooh, girl. It's funny. You know your boy is musically inclined. Obviously not with the high notes, but I rip and I rap and I rap and I rip, you know what I'm saying? Bars. When I was in college, I took a singing class. Yeah, your boy got pipes. Not high note pipes. I didn't even say they're good pipes, okay? I just said I had them. Didn't ask me if they're all rotted and shit. Type of pipes you need a plumber to come out and fix. Anyway, took a singing class. Some of the most talented singers were in that class. Some I still keep in touch with, you know. That was like so long ago. But dude, I met some of the most talented singers, and I'm just like, some of them, they never reach their potential. It's the saddest thing when I'm like, you have all the fucking talent in the world, and you're not doing it. I wish I could just shake you and be like, stop doing this bullshit. But anyway, besides the point, the whole point of the story is your boy, for our midterm or whatever it was, we had to sing a song in front of the class, and I love to try to challenge myself in a silly way. Listen, I got the kind of voice like I can pull off sounding something similar to like a Jack Johnson song. Not in like I sound like Jack Johnson, but I just got the voice where I can almost talk a Jack Johnson song, you know? It's just in the octave, just, I hope this old train breaks down so I could take a walk around, see what there is to see. You know, it's kind of like you're just kind of talking in Jack Johnson voice so you can just be chill. But anyway, your boy isn't about that. That's what you call the comfort zone for me, is just almost talking. And I was like, let's go see how fucking far out I can go with this. And, dude, I'm totally blanking on his name. It's not Otis Redding. Who was it? Oh, maybe it was. Maybe it was Otis Redding. Yeah, I think it was Otis Redding. What song was it? Man, it can't be Otis Redding, is it? But you guys got to help me out. Who another artist like Otis Redding from that same era, very high notes, like, yeah, baby. He hits it up there. I have a fucking shirt with this picture on it. I'm such a cheese ball right now. Al Green. The fuck is wrong with me? It just came back to me. But I decided for my midterm, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I decided for my midterm, I was going to perform an Al Green song. Let me see which song it was so you really know. It wasn't For the Good Times, Look What You Done. No. It's a very popular Al Green. Oh, Let's Stay Together. Now, let's stay together. Oh, loving you forever. You hear that squeak? It's still the morning, ladies and gentlemen, all right? But I have weeks to prepare this song. And obviously, I'm one of those people who just wait till the day before to get ready. So I'm like, all right, I can just sing it. I've been driving, singing it, practicing it. Obviously, I don't need it to sound perfect. I just need it to sound like I can hold on to the notes. There's a few that listen, I'll paint the picture. I feel ready and everything. Your boy is drinking his tea the night before. Got that tea with the honey in the morning. Getting ready to head out to school. College of the Canyons, shout out. But I decide, I'm like, I'm going down the Al Green rabbit hole. I'm like, let me watch an interview with Al Green. And he goes on this talk show, and they're like, oh, Al Green, how you doing? I'm doing very good, man. You know what? I'm blah, blah. And he starts talking in his fucking singing voice. And then I'm like, oh no, I'm a different species than Al Green. I have no business even pretending to sing this song right now. And it fucked up my whole vibe because I was like, oh no. It's like that little voice in your head. It walked in with a megaphone. It was like, yeah, Evan, you're going to fuck this shit up because you fucked up and didn't do any research, and now it's going to go terrible. And I sabotaged myself, and my voice cracked during the performance. I just wasn't as relaxed as I needed to be, and I was like, it's so stupid. And it was so bad. You ever been doing a performance or a speech or something in class where you're visibly nervous? I made eye contact with someone, and they just went like this. They went, and they couldn't make eye contact with me because it was going so bad. And I was just like, Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize, okay? Listen, we had some technical difficulties, all right? We had someone deliver a package to the door. I came back in here to get the podcast going, spilt my entire cup of water all over myself. Listen, your boy is moist from the waist down right now, but you know what? The show goes on. That's one thing I can promise you about this podcast. It's never going to be artificial. It's never going to be fake. I'm never going to pump some bullshit into you. Bars. Creepy bars. Don't have any more water. We're doing it fucking dry. Fuck it. I'm going to do it dry. Yeah, Al Green. That messed me up. And it was my first real... it wasn't my first real experience because I had done live shows with music at that time. I wasn't doing stand-up yet. And it was a terrible bombing. You can bomb in other genres for sure. I'd done plenty of music open mics. I'd done music shows one time. Dude, probably the craziest show I had. I'm going to leave out names and promotions to protect their dignity, and I still respect these people. And I got booked to do a hip-hop show for this new nightclub that was supposed to pop up in the Yellow Valley. Already red flag. And I'm like, cool, hell yeah, I'm ready for it. And it's supposed to be this dope cantina or something like that. And I remember being stoked about it, invited a bunch of people. I think I'm going to do, there's going to be huge TVs all over this place, like showing it. There's going to be a giant TV behind me. It's supposed to be packed, like 200 people. It's supposed to be dope. They're just giving me the name, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you the address, like blah, blah, blah. And it never got around to giving me the address until the day of the show. And I'm like, okay, well, where is it? And then they finally gave it to me, and it was in a bad part of town. And it used to be, it was this famous place that used to be like an old biker bar that turned into a gay bar at one point, to like just being a completely ghetto bar. And I had to perform there. And the theme of the show was the Wolf of Wall Street or something like that. Like, I don't know why they had a theme for this club night or something they were doing. It was so crazy. And I remember getting there. My sister drove with me, a few friends, probably rolled deep like 10, 15 people. and just completely not my audience. And they just there was dudes like, there was like acts before me, and I was going on. As soon as I start going on, I have a dope video. I created this dope ass visual accompaniment. That's not the word for it, but you know what I'm trying to say. To accompany me while I perform, just to make it visually stimulating. So that's going while I'm performing and everything. All of a sudden, a fight just breaks out right in front of me, and I just start narrating it. And I'm like, okay, this is dope. What's happening right here? No one's paying attention to a single fucking thing. And I literally just start freestyling just to how weird it is for everybody. It was like my first time ever riffing, like stand-up, because I was like, this is fucking awkward. This is weird. It's raining outside. It turned out terrible. And it was like, there's different levels of bombing. The bad bombing is, in my experience, the bad bombing is when people are paying attention to you and it's going terrible and you start to panic. It's something that I try to avoid. Like you start getting in your own head rather than just being in the moment. Once you start thinking, oh fuck, I'm bombing, or you just, your bits are already on Bambi legs, meaning they're like, you bomb, like the way I would set up a show is I would try to, if I had new material, if I knew it was a big event, that, how many people were going to be there, I wouldn't really bring any new material. It was all going to work. It was just, there's a solid set and I need to perform. But if it was a smaller thing or something I really just wanted to work on, I would have a good opener. I would stuff something in the middle that was new, and then, something reliable, then something new, and then maybe a big closer depending on the set. The set length, I mean. And the worst thing that can happen is when you just are working on new stuff and you can't think of stuff. Like, and you don't want to bail on a bit. Because sometimes if you're working on something new and it's just not going anywhere, you'll try to commit to it, but then you're like, fuck it. All right, well, y'all didn't like that shit. Guess you guys don't like penguins. And then you'll get a little chuckle, and then you got to hit them with some of that reliable old Yeller, you know what I'm saying? Something reliable on there. But the bad bomb is when you get yourself backed into a corner where the panic sets in and you almost are like a deer in headlights, and you can't even think of your bit and what's the next setup and what's this. And then you acknowledge it, and then you just like, I can kind of get myself out of this. This doesn't really happen anymore. I'm sure it will with all the time off now. But like, you can just get there with the deer in headlights and you completely blank. That's the worst. That's the worst kind of bomb, I think, is when the crowd knows that you're bombing and that you're feeling the bomb, and you don't know what to do about it, and every eyeball is on you. The other good bomb, which is what I don't really care if this happens, is you're performing in a place where no one's really paying attention to you. You might have like one or two people here, and then you might have some other comics in the room who are like trying to support you, and then it's just a bar or a restaurant of people who want nothing to do with you. I'm completely fine with that. I used to do open mics where people in the restaurant, they wouldn't even know an open mic was about to happen. So there'd be people trying to eat their fucking appetizers and fucking mozzarella sticks, and all of a sudden some weird dick joke over the corner of their shoulders going off when it's like a family friendly restaurant. It was always funny to me. As soon as, like, if I went to one of these mics and I was sitting there watching, like, I would love to watch the moment looking around the room when families realized there was about to be a comedy open mic. It usually would go terrible. And I gave them 100% cushion. If they didn't want to laugh at anything and want to acknowledge, or they were just like, they seemed irritated about it, I'd be like, yeah, you just paid for a night out with your family. How terrible to have this fucking guerrilla warfare mic sprung on you, you know? The last thing you want is people that didn't want to watch comedy watching comedy, okay? Feels great if you can get them on your side, but if they don't want to, you just gotta let it go. I always think it's interesting about stand-up in general and like music and performing, especially even in a classroom setting. Like when I bombed with Al Green, that was in like a classroom setting. There's certain things, I think it's almost harder. I feel like I feel like they go hand in hand. That same bombing feeling that you can get in stand-up, you can get it in the classroom. And I feel like classrooms are set up to make you nervous. Very bright lights. Everybody has to look at you. They can't fuck off, you know? Dude, especially in high school. It was the worst. Do you remember when like people's hands would shake? Like when they were holding a paper? That is the fucking worst. Or when when their cheeks would shake. Oh my God. I'd want to hug them. I'd just be like, hey, we're going to get through this. People's legs start shaking. Oh my God. It would make me cringe. It was terrible. Oh man, especially at that time in your life, in high school, where everything fucking mattered so much. You gave so much shits about what people thought of you. It's crazy. It's crazy that for a lot of people in high school, it didn't work out well for them. Like the popular kids. I realize now, like, I was never one of the cool kids. Like, I never had a fancy car, or never had this and all these cool clothes and all that in high school. Shoes from the thrift store. I had fucking weird smoking suede shoes that I would wear to school because I was just like, I don't know what's cool. I came from a homeschool world. This is who I am now. But look at your boy now. I figured it the fuck out. Stupid. But I realized that so many of those kids that were like popular, and this is why it's weird to me, because I'm like, you cared so much about what people thought in high school. What happened after to where you're just like, I'm just going to stay in the hometown and I'm just going to do this. And I'm not really going to take care of myself. Like, did you use up all that magic in high school where you cared so much? Or did you just get so enlightened that you were like, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me now. I don't have to compete anymore, you know? But that was such a weird fucking time. And I think I feel like that's why it's so weird with people not going to school right now and doing Zoom and all this stuff. Because I feel like it's the social side of it that you need to experience. Because all the weird hierarchies in our society, I think high school is the most exaggerated form of that. And it gives you all those different hierarchies without any substance or awareness for them. You just know that those hierarchies exist. Like if you look at the cool kids, the popular kids, the jocks, they're all just labeled there because that's what they are on the surface. We don't look at, oh, this guy is cool and drives this car because his parents fucking bought it for him. Okay, you're kind of a loser. You didn't earn this or anything like that. Okay, yeah, you're a jock because you've just been dedicated to sport and all of that and all of this. And like we didn't, the weird, quiet kids didn't really know at the time that, at least I didn't have the wherewithal to be like, okay, you've been through something and blah, blah, blah. Like you just don't have any of the awareness, but you get to experience all the different walks of life, And I think that's such an important thing, especially with how social we are. It's kind of crazy that this pandemic has rendered these kids at this critical age, like, I almost said rendered useless, but they just aren't getting that stimulation. Giggity. Maybe they are. I think that's why I wonder, this is what I wish I had, like a weird time machine where I could look at things and wonder how eccentric people would be getting on social media and everything if we didn't have a pandemic right now. Obviously, the frustration levels are high of tension and all of that. But like, would people be thawing out on TikTok as much? Would people be doing the most, if everything was open? And it's like people are looking for all this artificial social interaction, I think at an alarming rate. Who the fuck am I? And I think it's related to the pandemic. I think with everything being closed, especially schools, and them not having that social side of everything, it's fucking up a lot of kids, even young kids, younger, little kids. It's important to socialize. That's one thing that for me, someone who did grow up homeschooled, there was a lot of social stuff that I didn't experience, and I kind of had to throw myself into the deep end to kind of get over things that I didn't really experience when I was a kid. I was with the swim team, growing up. We tried hanging out with other homeschool kids, And I understand why my parents wanted to homeschool us. They wanted us to try to get a better education. And it was at a time where it was like everybody thought the public schools were going to do this and be that. And I don't think we really had money for everybody to go to private school. So I understand the idea of homeschooling your kid. But I think there's such a strong social need of interaction that you don't get. Because I was part of a swim team, where I did interact with kids and I had friends and everything, but that was like an hour and a half, 2 hours at night. And we were swimming. You don't really talk that much in swimming, to hang out on the weekends, but like in school, you're talking about like 8 hours of constant interaction under different settings where, you're doing homework assignments, you're doing all this stuff, you're having to, it's almost like letting little kids box in a weird way, because it's like, the consequences aren't going to be that dire. No one's going to get knocked the fuck out. It's like you got these huge pillows and you're able to deal with all these little beefs and all these little nuances and social interactions that you deal with as you become an adult. And I think if you plot someone in as an adult without any of those training wheels, it's harder for them to adapt. And I think I had to deal with that a lot in high school, where I had to adapt to this whole new environment. Imagine I went like half a year in 4th grade, got kicked out for fighting, and then went to freshman year in high school. And there was a hard learning curve to understanding the weird hierarchies. I got in a lot of fights and all this stuff just because I always was I cared way too much about being disrespected. That's one thing that probably from the years of like from 25 to 33 now, where I've let that go a lot, was caring so much about people insulting me. Because like when I was younger, I would take it to heart because it wouldn't happen all that often. And as I've gotten older, I've realized how stupid and how silly it is to care what people think and all this stuff. But that was just something I had to deal with because I didn't experience it as a kid, taking everything as an insult, slight, and be like, all right, well, my dad's from Brooklyn. He told us, like, anybody mess with you, you just punch him in the face. Like, don't let him even talk. Just punch him in the face. Which I guess is good parenting advice. I mean, I turned out okay, I guess, huh? But yeah, because I've had people, and this is why I'm talking about, is I've had people come up to me because they want their kids to homeschool. And I'm like, don't you ever do that. I just think it changes the family dynamic. Let your mom be a mom, not a teacher. Have your dad be a dad, not your gym coach, and go through that process. Let someone else teach your kids. I think parents are realizing, and at least at this point, have more respect for people who did homeschool kids and how much effort really goes into teaching your kids. Because I think parents realized real quick they didn't want to teach their kids at home. They didn't want to homeschool. And these Zoom schools are supposed to be bullshit. And it makes you wonder, with the way everybody reacted to the pandemic, and obviously hindsight's 2020. We did think this thing was going to kill us in the beginning of it. But we don't know which is better. We obviously shut down the economy. It's not just going to hit the ground running. It's going to be a slow turnover. But like, what are some of the things that we've lost with social interactions that kids during this time, different things they've developed, anxiety, stress, all of that they're going to take with them because of this weird year of isolation? For me, I think I'm really a case of someone who took isolation in the sense of homeschooling and turned it into something useful. Instead of like being a weird reclusive person, I just became super independent and I don't need a lot of help. I can figure stuff out, and it's because I was left to my own devices a lot, so I had to be creative. I had to learn how to entertain myself. So like I've developed skills where I can apply those to the real world now, But I don't recommend it. There's easier ways to get there, Let your kids play with blocks and shit. But it is crazy. Like you see everything with the pandemic, that everything's going up with depression, anxiety, all of that, suicide, especially in younger people. It's something that is, sucks even, and I don't want to keep bringing this back to me because I feel like we're talking about something bigger, but like even just the interactions of like jujitsu on a regular basis of going somewhere and going through that process and those social interactions, you need those with every day. I don't think it's good that people be harbored up in their little hole for so long. I think it's important to FaceTime with people, even if that's all you can do right now. But I couldn't imagine, but here's the thing. I don't have any kid friends. I don't have any kids in high schools that I'm friends with. It'd be kind of weird if I did. But like, I don't know if they're really following all these quarantine guidelines. They're forced to an extent because of a lot of stuff being closed down. But I don't know if I even blame them for not. This whole thing about, oh, you should be worried that you're killing your grandmother. I don't know if it's good to put that on kids, to take that angle with it of overlooking what they need in their life and everything, and what's important and what's going to be good, beneficial, for everyone after all of this. It's kind of crazy, right? God, I don't know. We went with one fucking thought about Al Green. Now, let's stay together. Oh, loving you forever is what I need. That was a note I practiced so long. Didn't even hit it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll end on this note. Jeff Bezos stepped down from Amazon. This is crazy. It's crazy. You can't even understand how much money this man has. I don't even know what his actual statistic is. Jeff Bezos' net worth. Why does it say net worth in rupees? What the fuck are rupees? Yo, this man is worth 185.7 billion. Billion. Okay? Can't even comprehend that number. Billion. You couldn't even spend that money in a lifetime. That makes no sense to me. But didn't Elon Musk just pass him up? 188 billion. Wow. That is nuts. 188 billion. And then Jeff Bezos with 184. Okay, according to this. And then Bill Gates, 132. I love Elon Musk, though. Listen, I think Elon Musk is the one. He's going to be remembered, I think, as one of those people that really changed the world in a good way. And I always thought this was dope, is that he doesn't care at all about competing. He doesn't have the ego of wanting to compete with other electric cars, like companies. He'll test drive them. I've seen videos of him trying to help other people. He welcomes people to use his patents and everything. Like, he really is just trying to do it to push our world forward. He's one of those weird geniuses. I always love watching his interviews because he's so far above normal thinking of how humans interact. Like, when a normal person is having a conversation, they're thinking of their response, but they're also trying to do it in the same pattern and response time of like a normal human being with the social cues. He's so profound that he'll take his time and you see him pause, think of the right response, and then just stoically wax poetic about it. The dude is on a different level. I wouldn't even know what to talk to him about. That's the thing, is like, I always look at this, like when some people want other people's lives, they're like, man, Elon Musk is so lucky. Do you know how on a day-to-day, Elon Musk's life must be so boring? You see like once every 7 months where he's like staring at a rocket go up out in outer space. But the rest of it, this man is just working all of the time and making weird code-named kids and shit. you know? But Jeff Bezos, man, what are you going to do? I think he's just going to hang out and do some like charity shit. Looking all bald and shit. The man looks like an egg that turned into a human. Man. Dude, money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you a better body. You know, you just get on all those hormones. Why not? Listen, if I had endless money, I'd be taking everything I possibly could just to stay alive. I'd get new knees every morning if I had Jeff Bezos' money. Jeff Bezos' money. Like, I would just change out my vertebrae with like a stegosaurus vertebrae. Something real solid. I'm never gonna have back pain again. You know? I'd have metal hands and shit. I'd permanently have those like trampoline feet. You know, that like some people, they like jump and they bounce with them. Circus du Soleil. I'd have those. Why not? Have fucking guns built into my arms. Like a shoulder cannon. Like Predator. I'd be taken out within the first week of having Jeff Bezos' money. Because I just turn into an evil... I'd turn into Elon Musk's evil nemesis. At first, it'd start off with me making fun of him publicly. I'd take up like TV time and just start making fun of Elon Musk. And then it would turn into an actual war. Because I'd be like, well, why don't we meet in this empty field in Brazil and slug it out? And then I'd have shoulder cannons. And that'd be, you know, rocket launchers on Tesla. This has gone off the rails already, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, I just want you to know I care about you so much. The fact that I kept going with this podcast, even while water has been making me moist. Okay, your boy, this chair soaking wet, my shorts soaking wet. Yeah, it looks like I'm wearing pants probably. Shorts. That's the illusion with these podcasts. Sometimes naked. Sometimes I'm naked for you. But I want you to know, no matter what, listen, I love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the podcast. I know a lot of you have now. It's amazing. Thank you. We're going to try to be putting out more stuff. We're going to get more guests on. Listen, your boy's been trying. It's been a weird situation of people not being able to make the podcast in time. We're going to fix that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know, no matter what, I still love you.